Have you ever felt that your biggest battle isn't against the world, but against yourself? Maybe, as you try to move forward, you hear that inner voice telling you you're not good enough, that you don't deserve it, or that it's never going to work out. If this sounds familiar, stick with me, because what I'm about to share could change how you deal with these internal struggles. Think about it. How many times have you held yourself back? How many goals have you left behind because fear spoke louder than your desire to succeed? You're not alone. This silent war, you versus you, is more common than you think. But here's the key. You can turn this showdown into a real conversation that helps you grow. Keep watching, because with each sentence I'll show you ways to overcome that negative voice trying to bring you down. First, understand this. That critical voice in your head isn't some outside enemy. It's part of you. That might sound scary, but there's an upside. Just like you learn to be tough on yourself, you can also learn to be more understanding. What if, instead of fighting that inner part of you, you started listening to what it's really trying to say and figuring out where your fears and insecurities come from? Stay with me until the end, because I'll show you how this might be easier than it seems. Imagine that instead of calling yourself weak for feeling afraid, you ask, why am I feeling this way right now? What's scaring me? By digging into the root of that fear, you realize you can actually work with it. You don't have to see yourself as someone facing impossible battles anymore. Step by step, you can make an internal agreement. When fear speaks, you listen. When doubt appears, you try to understand it. Instead of wasting your energy fighting yourself, you start investing your time in learning what's really going on inside. Now, I know this might sound hard. Don't leave the video yet. I'll give you a starting point. Begin with small steps. Next time that negative voice pops up, don't try to shut it down by force. Ask yourself, what exactly am I feeling? And how can I respond to this in a fairer way to myself? Maybe you'll see that your insecurity comes from facing new territory, which is natural. Maybe your fear shows up because you genuinely care about doing well. Don't turn this off yet. This simple shift in perspective could be the first step in turning you versus you into you with you. Little by little, you learn to be your own partner, not your worst enemy. You start to notice your strengths, your victories, no matter how small, and you realize that your worth doesn't depend on being perfect. Keep watching, because here's where the magic happens. By trading harsh judgment for understanding, you create an inner space of peace. In that space, self-confidence can grow, creativity can bloom, and motivation comes from a more solid place. The best part? You don't have to become someone else. You just need to treat yourself with more respect. Think about it. If you don't support yourself, who will? Each failed attempt stops being proof of your inability and becomes one more step in your evolution. Each internal criticism stops feeling like hatred and becomes a sign, an alert that gives you a chance to adjust your path. That's why I'm asking you not to leave now. These ideas only matter if you put them into practice. In the end, you versus you turns into an ongoing conversation where respect and self-knowledge replace internal attacks. And the more you understand yourself, the better prepared you are for the real challenges out there. Stay until the end, because what I'm saying is simple but powerful. By learning to listen to that inner voice, you gain a guide, not a tormentor. What used to feel like a draining war becomes a journey of personal growth. So, it's your choice. You can keep treating yourself like an enemy or become your own best ally. If you've watched this far, congratulations. You've already taken the first step. Now it's time to put it into action. Experiment, keep trying, and be patient. Bit by bit, fear turns into understanding, doubt turns into clarity, and insecurity turns into courage. And that's how you go from merely surviving yourself to living with more lightness, confidence,